Hello everyone, welcome to my broadcast. I am Jai Gobind and I am your channel for grace. Thank you for watching this replay on Periscope and on my YouTube channel. And if you are here live, welcome into this special broadcast. So this is, I think, about our third or fourth time doing this new show called The Awakening, how to uncover the hidden power of your DNA. We've been covering this amazing book called The Gene Keys. Anybody heard of it? Oh my God, look how cool the background looks. Whoa, that's crazy. So has anybody heard of this book called The Gene Keys? Hey, Duckins. How's it going? Hey, Leanne. How's it going? Hello, Mini Golf. Welcome in. Thank you for inviting and sharing. Jeff, welcome in. Forever. Welcome in. Greetings. Yes. So we've been covering this book and I discovered this book like last week or maybe a little bit longer than a week. And it just blew my mind. Hey, Renee, welcome into the broadcast. It completely blew my mind. I am always searching for answers to, who am I truly? What is my life purpose? And I know that a lot of us search for these answers. I know there's a lot of people also in the world that don't care about any of this stuff. Hey, Sonoma, welcome in. But the truth is that we are, as a planet, ascending and we're moving into higher and higher dimensions. And in this movement forward, more and more people are what I like to call awakening. And we're awakening to the fact that times are changing. There's huge shifts happening in the world. And maybe, just maybe, we can play a role in that shift. And if you feel like you're a light worker, if you feel like you came to Earth to help somehow, but you don't know how, this book, The Gene Keys, is going to actually help you to activate your individual, very beautiful frequency, which is found in your DNA. So you see the DNA strands behind me. The reason I have those here, hey Ellie, welcome in, is because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about on a DNA level, what are we truly made of? Hey Ladybug, what is it that makes us who we truly are? And here's the key question to ask yourself. If you had the key to unlock this mystery of who you truly are, would you open the door, right? That's what you want to ask yourself. And if you're like, hell yes, and if you're like, I don't know about all this, that tells you where you're at. And it's not good or bad. It just means that this is where you're at. If you said hell yes, then watching this specific show is going to give you huge insight. So what I recommend is getting this book called The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. This makes my face look so crazy. I look like an alien now. Look at my hands. So The Gene Keys, by Richard Rudd is the book you guys want to get. Hey, Cien Almas, welcome in. Don't worry, I'll fix the camera. I'm an alien now, the blue beast. And also this other book called The Activation Sequence. Thank you for inviting and sharing. Ooh, this background is acting crazy. The Activation Sequence. There's actually 3 of these books because there are 3 different sequences in your own map, which you can get at genekeys.com. Boom, boom, boom. The Activation Sequence, the Venus Sequence, and the Pearl Sequence. You're turning blue! I didn't know this background was going to do that, but I kind of like it. We should do something funny with that. Let's see, I know I missed a couple of comments. We are broadcasting on Periscope and on my YouTube channel, and I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. So everybody that's watching, please take a moment to go to YouTube and follow me on YouTube. It is called Channel for Grace. I am also live on there, so if you want to go watch over there on YouTube, you can also do that as well. Greetings, I am well, thank you. I hope you're well. I'm good. Vega came over today, going through generations of stuff and discarding to move. Wow. Ellie, thank you for inviting and sharing. JP, welcome in. Cien Almas, thank you for inviting. Drunk, Disorderly, welcome into the broadcast. Nuriak, welcome in. Paulo, welcome in. FG Gulenboga, welcome in. Elias, welcome in. Boosted, welcome in. Carpus, welcome in. Brother John, welcome in. Luis, welcome in. Jel, welcome in. Brother John, thank you so much for sharing and inviting. I really appreciate that, you guys. And if we make it, so this is the game we play on my broadcast on the Periscope channel specifically. If we get to a certain amount of superstars, super hearts, or stars, star balance, then I will do something really cool. Yesterday I was doing some juggling. Today, if we hit that mark, I'm going to play a song on the guitar and you guys will get to pick what song that is. So let's talk about the gene keys more specifically. I don't know about them. Are they going to be disorderly? Yeah, I know, right? All those names are crazy. Oh my God, I know. It's ridiculous. It's kind of funny. But so the gene keys is based on the, hey Mente Insana, it's based on the I Ching. Do you guys know the I Ching? If you don't know, hey Salem, if you don't know the I Ching, sorry, my nose is itchy and I really need to like blow it. Sorry. So if you know the I Ching, or if you don't know the I Ching, it's basically an ancient like oracle. People, or it's kind of turned into an oracle, but it's like a poetic written book where you can literally like flip open to the page that you want and or intuitively get to, and you read that section and it's meant to give you like some kind of guidance to your day. It's kind of like oracle cards, right? You like pull the cards and whichever cards you get, that's your message for the day. And so that's what the I Ching. Okay, the I Ching. I like saying it I Ching. The I Ching. Okay. So basically you pull out, you know, this wisdom from this very powerful book. This book called The Gene Keys is actually, if I put it up, I'm going to turn blue again. But here we go. This called The Gene Keys is actually a book that is the modern version of the I Ching. I'll get it right. Oh my God, this background is ridiculous. We're on the 4th. So I think you might have been here for the last one. But we're on the 4th gene key. There's 64 total, and they correspond to your DNA, the chromosomes in the DNA and the pairs in the DNA. So this isn't just some sort of, I guess you could say, a spiritual book that isn't based on some kind of concrete something in the body, but this is actually based on on your DNA and all of the 64 pairs or 32 pairs, right? Because there's 64 of them, but they're all paired. So you're talking about your chromosomes, you're talking about your genes, you're talking about activating your DNA at a cellular level. So one of the things that we've talked about before is that our cells, what they've discovered in quantum biology, that our cells are actually, the nucleus is not the brain. The brain of the cell is not in the nucleus, but rather in the membrane of the cell, which changes everything, right? Which means that our own specific brain is not just in our head. You know, we think it is, but the brain of our body, the one that really like takes in information from the environment, is literally like all over us. It's everywhere. Your brain is your whole body. It's not just your up here in your head. And so with this new awareness, this changes completely how we think about life in general. So this theory of this, quantum biology is based on this belief, or that specific theory is based on the fact that when cells evolved, they actually had to go from this point of being like kind of like dog eat dog, where like it was survival of the fittest. But the way that they survived this initial point of the cell, like the amoeba, right, that was just like a one-celled creature. So the way that these single-celled organisms survived is by coming together, sort of surrendering to becoming more than one cell, which means that there's no way that they could be competing anymore, because the survival took them from a place of being, dog eat dog to, oh my God, I think we have to work together. And that's the whole point of this, this whole book, is that we think we're a certain way and that we've evolved and that it's like the survival of the fittest. But the truth is that where we're going is where the original what originally happened is going. So we're moving to a place of working together as humanity, as different human beings on the planet. So you have to think about the whole planet as a whole. So this is not the perspective of like me, you know, in this area, you know, the color of my skin, where I was born. Like, this is beyond just like countries and belief systems. This is like expanded out so that you look at Earth as part of a universal system. So in the universe, there's many, many, many galaxies, which means there are billions of solar systems, which means there are so many other planets on this universe that have life. There's absolutely no way that that doesn't exist, right? There's no way that we're like the only planet in the universe that's so freaking big and expansive that has life. It's just not possible. So we're talking like way bigger picture, and that's a theme that has been coming up over and over. Hey Jade, this week. So yesterday I did the full moon lunar eclipse ceremony. Hi there, how are you? And the message was, get a bigger perspective, like get ready to see the big picture. And there's nothing like diving into this kind of topic that lets you see the bigger picture, that allows you to step into the bigger picture. So how can we use this to help us evolve ourselves? The DNA strands background is so cool. Yes, I had the same one, but it was lighter and then it didn't look as good. So I decided to make it darker and it looks much better. Darker. Thank you guys for all those hearts. So each gene key has, not a jinky, because everybody says it sounds like that, but these are gene keys to unlock the higher potential of your DNA. Each of them has 3 ways of being expressed in the world. The first one is in its shadow form, and it can be expressed in its shadow form through yourself individually, but it can also be expressed in shadow form throughout all of humanity. This is an energy that kind of exists in humanity, and until we move from the shadow into the gift and then into the city, which is the divine gift, we will be stuck in this negative vibration. Low vibration. That's the shadow of every single one of these gene keys. The second expression is the gift. So you move from pretty much ascending, transmuting from the shadow and into the gift. So when you get to the gift, it's like you're this beautiful expression of the energy, but it's still kind of like polar opposites. You're still dealing with this polarity of like the shadow and the gift. So it's an essential part of the process. There's no way you can get to the city without passing through this gift, without awakening the gift of this key. But then when you get to the city, or the divine expression of it, the divine gift, then it's like you transcend all polarity. And then it's almost like the shadow and the gift, both of themselves, like sort of disintegrate, because you enter into this awakened, enlightened state where there's no more polarity. There's only unconditional love, and the kind of love that we can't even imagine in our bodies. We can kind of think about it, but we can't really feel or comprehend this enormous, like, which is basically the essence of the universe. Unconditional love, like just pure love. It's not good, it's not bad. It is what it is. So that's difficult for us to imagine. So it's nice that this book has been designed in a way to teach us how to move through the different frequencies, and each one vibrates higher and higher. And so as we vibrate higher and higher, we activate our DNA at a cellular level, and we in turn create a whole, it's like we open up a portal to step through so that we can be better at whatever it is we're meant to do. You can look up your own gene keys. Hey, Snarkies, Cryptograms, thank you for inviting and sharing. Thanks for being in here. So you can look up your own. I actually would love for you guys to do this. If you can do this right now, that would be awesome. Go to genekeys.com, enter your name, your email, your birth date, the place you were born and the time you were born, just like you would to get your astrology chart, because it is also based on the alignment of the stars and the planets when you were born. And it's based on a lot more, but that's part of it. Hey, Shelly, thanks for inviting and sharing. So go to genekeys.com and get your own personal map. And then you'll have a better idea of like what I'm talking about when I'm going through the gene keys. This book goes through each individual gene key, describes it, tells you what happens when you're in the shadow expression, what happens when you're in the gift expression, what happens when you're in the city expression. And then when you look at your map, you're going to see you have specific gene keys that are individual to you. And when you study these gene keys, when you contemplate the information, the wisdom found in these pages, you begin to activate your DNA. That's how it works, you guys. It's that easy. So yes, genekeys.com. Thank you so much for putting that up there. But exactly, it's that easy. This isn't like some crazy thing where you have to like go in a cave and meditate for like 30 years, you know, and then you'll get a revelation. No, this is like everyday life. This is modern living. This is the Aquarian age. We all have the power within ourselves to activate ourselves, and you can do it while you're having a life, right? You don't have to leave your life to find your life, right? You don't have to leave yourself to find yourself. You are right here, and all you have to do is just look inside. So today we're going to go over the 4th gene key. Let me see if I missed some comments. The God gene, the DNA strands background is so cool. Yes, it is. Thank you for sharing and inviting. Leomar, welcome in. Shelly, thank you for inviting. Okay, so the 4th gene key is called the universal panacea, which is like the universal like healing or something like that. And this 4th gene key is expressed in 3 different ways. So the shadow expression of the 4th gene key is intolerance. Yeah, you're welcome, Duckins. The gift of the 4th shadow, or of the 4th gene key, is understanding. And the city is forgiveness. I created a profile. I have to study how to read it. Yes. So to be able to understand it, you want this book. Once you get your map, you want to get access to this book. The Gene Keys Golden Path, a step-by-step guide to your hologenetic profile. That's what your map is called. And then it's The Activation Sequence, Discovering Your Genius by Richard Rudd. That's the book you want to get to help you start looking at your own hologenetic profile or your own map. Because there's 3 different books that relate to the 3 different sequences within your chart. So that book will help you get, it's like a great start. The programming partner for this 4th gene key, they all have a partner. Remember, this is the DNA strands, is the 49th gene key. The codon ring is called the Ring of Union, and it is made up of the 4th, the 7th, the 29th, and the 59th gene key. The physiology is the neocortex, and the amino acid is valine, or valine. I think it's valine. So we're going to read about the 4th shadow of intolerance. And if you guys have questions, comments, while I'm reading, just put up your questions. I don't mind pausing to answer questions. This is like, I want this to be more of like a discussion than just me like reading. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Ellie, see you later. So the shadow is called the folly of youth. When the ancient Chinese named this first hexagram of the I Ching, they gave it the wonderful name youthful folly. And in doing so, they showed a profound understanding of its lower nature. The 4th shadow, the shadow of intolerance, is rooted in the mind's habit of becoming tangled up with human emotions. Ain't that right? Ain't that the truth? Oh my God. Intolerance is best understood through its relationship to its programming partner, which is the 49th shadow of reaction. Intolerance and reaction are they kind of feed each other. Because human beings are governed by their emotions, the general emotional state of humanity is unstable and chaotic. Thank you for inviting your followers, Sonoma. We tend to react to our whims instead of attuning to the quiet, clear guidance that lies within each of us. In reacting to our own and others' emotions, we decide that what we feel must be the truth, and our mind agrees with us. The fourth shadow is essentially a misuse of one of the greatest gifts of the human mind, logic. The power of this fourth gene key is the power to read and solve logical problems, and as we shall see in the case of the fourth gift, this ability leads to a universal understanding of the rhythmic patterns and tendencies of all life. If you guys need me to repeat anything, just tell me, okay? However, at a low frequency based on emotional reaction or overreaction, this shadow uses the power of distorted logic to support and uphold its volatile nature. In other words, if the fourth shadow has a bad day and decides it doesn't like someone, it will find a whole list of logical reasons to support its dislike. Yes, this is what intolerance really is, a slanted perspective of logic. At the shadow frequency, the mind is actually given the authority to make important life decisions. And this is often disastrous because its true role is not to decide anything. Did you get that? The mind's true role is not to decide anything. That's deep right there. Its true role is to understand and communicate. Understand and communicate. The aptness of the name youthful folly becomes apparent when you see what happens at this shadow as this shadow reaches an extreme emotional state. At the shadow frequency, you identify absolutely with your emotional state, which defines the way you live your life. Any unresolved emotional pattern is taken up by your mind and built into a highly intricate logical framework that masquerades as the absolute truth. Through the medium of the fourth shadow, opinions, judgments, and resentments are transmuted into convictions and certainties. All I ever ask is for understanding. I know, isn't that the truth? Yeah, I agree with you, Duckins. In this way, people blind themselves with their own logic and can become deluded and sometimes dangerous. Does anybody have the fourth gene key in their profile? Anybody that's already done it or gotten to get it on genekeys.com? I'm really curious about that because when you have one of these in your profile, it's like super important for you. So it's super important for you to pay attention. Intolerance is based on a subjective distortion of logic, which only measures those patterns that a person wants to see, rather than seeing all patterns from all sides of an argument. The power of the fourth gift of understanding is founded upon this ability to objectively assess all aspects of a viewpoint, thus avoiding the pitfall of taking sides. The human logical mind is actually not designed to take sides. The essence of logic is its foundation upon objectivity. But in the hands of fear, objectivity dies and logic becomes subjective. Whoa. Does it read fourth gene key in the profile? Yeah, it'll say the number 4. It'll say 4 point something. 4 point something. Somewhere in one of those little bubbles, little circles. Dang, that's intense. Objectivity dies and logic becomes subjective when you're in the hands of fear. We do. We tell ourselves these stories of what everything means, and we don't realize it's painted by like everything that we feel. And it's hard to be truly objective, right? It's a challenge to be truly objective. It's not, you can't just get there. You have to, it's a process of learning to use, you know, true understanding through everything that you do. But because our emotions kind of get out of control sometimes, and we just like buy into our emotions so much because they're so powerful, they are our guiding system. So we end up getting stuck in this place of trying to make sense of something that through our eyes, through our individual perspective. But that's not the true perspective. The true perspective is the wider perspective. Racism and prejudice are examples of genetic or ancestral fears that manifest through certain population groups, who then reinforce these fears through subjective logical argumentation. Even science is rarely truly objective, unless it remains open to all counter-arguments. In the case of science, a counter-argument might come from religion, which challenges logic as the only means of acquiring truth. Only when science is skeptical of its very own nature can it really be regarded as truly objective. The fourth shadow forms a very subtle undercurrent to all human mental structures, from the scientific to the spiritual. It cannot help taking sides. The underlying nature of all the shadow states is fear. In this case of the fourth shadow, fear is projected onto others and then reinforced through taking a defensive and sometimes offensive mental position. This is how intolerance is created, and it is sometimes extremely subtle. Intolerance bases its position or opinion rather than fact. If you took the time to examine the other side of the argument, you would immediately understand that your opinion is rooted in a deep-seated emotional fear of something. The great problem with logic is that it can only disprove itself, which does not make human beings feel at all secure. Therefore, most people choose one single side of an argument because it makes them feel a certain mental solidity. Ironically, however, mental assuredness cannot make the body feel safe. Wow. Mental assuredness cannot make the body feel safe. So what does make the body feel safe? The body can only feel safe when it surrenders to the moment without wanting something else. Let me read that part again. The body can only feel safe when it surrenders to the moment without wanting something back. Fear is lack of understanding. Yes. The fourth shadow is endlessly restless in its need to examine patterns and resolve questions. One answer is simply replaced by another question. The role of this gene key is to understand, but understanding cannot come through the mind itself. This is the essence of the fourth shadow's dilemma, and it keeps many people from realizing its gift. Understanding, as we shall see, only comes when you realize that your mind can never truly understand anything. Wait, what? Understanding, oh my God, okay, now we're getting kind of deep here. Understanding, as we shall see, only comes when you realize that your mind can never truly understand anything. Before you come to this huge inner realization, you will live your life under the influence of the fourth shadow and its persistent promise that it will one day arrive at an answer that brings you lasting peace. This is youthful folly, because only after such much anguish and experience do you come to realize that there is no intellectual answers that bring about such peace. Well, I understand that, because what truly brings about peace is not intellectualism. It's your heart. Your heart. There are only two options for the fourth shadow. You either settle for a one-sided opinion and deny the other side, or you become lost in the fruitless quest to bring an end to the feeling of uncertainty that lies deep within you. Unless you make the leap into true understanding of the fourth gift, you have no choice but to be caught in eternal misunderstanding and intolerance. So there's a repressive nature of each shadow, and there is a reactive nature of each shadow. The repressive nature of this shadow of intolerance is called apathetic. So apathy, what does apathy mean, right? Apathy is kind of a gnarly state. It's not, I mean, it does not feel good at all, you know? When the mental dynamism of this fourth gene key is frozen by the unconscious fear of a repressive nature, the result is an apathetic mind. An apathetic mind is a collapsed mind that is no longer bright or intelligent, but has given up on understanding anything and sunk into a kind of mental lethargy. These people believe themselves to be less intelligent than others, when in fact they are really paralyzed by an unconscious fear. Their fear is that they will have to assume responsibility for themselves, their decisions, and their actions. So instead, they choose to have no opinions about anything. Such people can pretend to be quite enlightened and very open, but there is a vital energy lacking inside them. Thus, they can have problems in motivation as well as with their health. To escape their apathy, they simply have to start thinking again, but without letting their thinking rule their lives. And then on the opposite spectrum is the reactive nature of this shadow of intolerance, which is nitpicking. In the reactive nature, thinking does rule a person's life. The reactive nature projects out its eternal need for answers to questions, and it does so in the belief that these answers will bring them a sense of security. When they discover that this is not so, they become angry and blame someone, often the person or system that they supposed would give them all the answers. These people cannot let go of their need for some feeling of resolution, so they make their mind the authority for bringing about this feeling, only to be endlessly disappointed. These people hone in on the most irrelevant details, unconsciously looking for a vent for their frustration. When they find such a detail, it affords them the opportunity to criticize or complain and thus release some of their pent-up anger and tension. These people, above all, need to find a way to let go of the hope that their mind can ever bring them solace. When they do this, they can finally stop projecting their eternal disappointment onto others and begin to find a new awareness arising in them outside of their mind. So what do you guys think about that? Intolerance. Energy of intolerance. Do you know people that are like super intolerant of other people? Do you yourself feel like you've been intolerant or you are intolerant in your life? At, you know, in any phase, any part of your life, have you been really intolerant? I feel like I've been intolerant in my past, you know? I think because of all this, you know, spirituality and new thinking, new wave, new earth that I've been, you know, continuously studying for like the last 10 years basically, has actually, hey there, welcome in. Thank you for coming into the broadcast. So based on these last, you know, years of studying this, I think that I've been, you know, you move from that energy almost naturally. When you become wiser, when you understand yourself a little bit more, when you can see the bigger perspective. Thank you so much for inviting your followers, El Gandor. So I think you move out of that naturally, but sometimes if you get stuck, I feel like it's hard. It's hard to move from this phase of feeling intolerant of certain things. Do you know what I mean? I have triggers like most humans. Yes. Yeah, I feel like we all do. It's important to recognize them. I think recognizing them is a big step forward. So let's talk about the fourth gift. So the fourth gift is understanding. And it's called quantum koans, like Koans, koans. If you are someone with powerful intellectual capacities, the fourth gift represents a wonderful breath of fresh air for you. At the same time, it requires a huge quantum leap in your whole being. The gift of understanding has nothing whatsoever to do with knowledge. Did you hear that? The gift of understanding has nothing whatsoever to do with knowledge. Holy crap. That's intense, you guys. And that's why I love this book. Knowledge is what your mind thinks it needs in order to take away its permanent feeling of unease. Whoa! Dang. It's not sugarcoating it at all. Knowledge is what your mind thinks it needs in order to take away its permanent feeling of unease. But knowledge can never bring a sense of peacefulness. At most, it can give you the hope of that peace. That's true. Although ironically, it is this very hope that sustains your intellectual quest and keeps you within the confines of the shadow frequency. Damn. Only true understanding can bring peace along with it, because true understanding lies outside the domain of the mind. Now I understand even less. I love that. Understanding is of the whole being. And it does not and cannot require agreement from the cognitive capacities within your brain. So remember when I started this broadcast, I said basically that our brain is not our brain, but our brain is found everywhere in our body, in like the membranes of our body. So understanding cannot just happen in the brain, but we think understanding happens in the brain, but it doesn't. Understanding happens on like a whole being level. So you're not just going to think understanding, you're going to feel understanding. Do you know what I mean? I think this falls into the category of like intuition. Like, what is intuition, right? This stuff is fascinating, you guys. If you allow the fourth gene key to run its natural course without giving it the responsibility to make decisions, it actually does something quite magical. It propels your awareness out of the mind. The very desperation of the mind to come to understanding through knowledge constantly thwarts itself by looking at life from every conceivable angle. At a certain point, all this pent-up energy explodes into a quantum leap out of the mind. Yes. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, good. By the way, thank you guys for watching on Periscope and on my YouTube channel. Make sure to follow my YouTube channel, Channel for Grace, for more content like this and more broadcasts like this. The other night was incredible sound healing. Nice, Xavier. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So this is precisely how the precise moment when the mind has finally released that its own logic can never solve the koan understanding dawns. I don't even understand. Okay, this is precisely how the concept of the Zen koan operates. A koan is a paradox given to the mind to solve. Oh, that's what it's talking about. And at the precise moment when the mind has finally realized that its logic can never solve the koan understanding dawns. Okay, let me read that part again because that was interesting, okay? A koan is a paradox given to the mind to solve. And at the precise moment when the mind has finally realized that its own logic can never solve the koan, understanding dawns. Boom! That's it right there. This quantum leap is true understanding. Okay, now I'm starting to see the bigger picture, which is a feeling of knowing that floods your whole body and radiates from your solar plexus area. See, to me, this is talking about like gut feelings. That's true knowing, right? Not what you think logically came to some kind of solution in your mind. That's not really true understanding. True understanding is from your gut. Like, you will know, you know? And there's no logical explanation of why you know, but you know. The gift of understanding is the only answer that will satisfy a person's dissatisfaction, and it must come about through the exhaustion of your mind rather than the other way. When you look logically at all angles of any concept, you begin to realize that nothing can ultimately be proved through logic, because logic can always be used to prove the opposite. Interesting. Wow. I mean, we're talking like big perspectives over here, like, whoa. When you finally see this, your whole being lightens, because you realize once and for all that the mind is of no use for resolving anything of real importance. That's hilarious. Oh my God. All right, might as well just give up. Fuck it. We're done. Oh my God. This in turn releases the mind to do what it loves best: research and communicate and play. Research, communicate, and play. Hey, Dusty Foot Philos. Welcome into the broadcast. How are you guys doing so far? I'm having a blast. I hope you guys are too. I mean, I feel like I'm just like blabbing on, but here we go. The fourth gift is freed from having to solve your existence. It finally comes into its real genius: to play with the patterns of existence and arrange them in new and original ways. When you have the feeling of visceral understanding deep in your belly, your mind is no longer hampered by the need to defend your own viewpoint. That is true. That is true. You don't like, so you get to a point, I've gotten there, where I don't need to feel that other people believe me, because I just believe myself and I know what's right for me. And it's my gut feeling that allows me to feel that sense of security, and it totally relieves you of like this need to be understood by other people or valued by other people. Oh, we're reading the fourth gene key from the book called The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. Which make me turn blue. In fact, you realize that all logical formula can be manipulated to prove or disprove anything. The higher frequency of such understanding also brings with it the urge to be of service to the world. That's interesting. Oh, hey, Movie Trav, how's it going? And you can use the mental elasticity of the fourth gift to follow the dictates of your higher self. This newfound genius at seeing the underlying patterns of life also affords you direct access into another aspect of this fourth gift: the ability to understand people. That's one of the books you suggested. Yes. This is what we're covering in this broadcast, and this is the fourth gene key, and there's 64 of them, so we've got quite a few more broadcasts to do. So make sure that you follow me here on this channel and also on my YouTube channel, so that you can be in on the notifications and on this like awesome journey that we're about to take. Hey Danny, welcome into the broadcast. My day's going so good. Hey big boss, welcome in. I am doing great, you guys. I hope you guys are doing good. Sounds interesting. How do we handle the need to be validated by others? It is very primordial. Well, this is how. This is the gift of understanding. So I'm going to keep reading and it'll paint a clearer picture. Through seeing all sides of any mental construct. Hello there, Willie. Juggling. Yes. The gift of understanding sweeps aside the possibility of intolerance and uses its gift to create new roles or systems to bring positive change in the world. The programming partner of the fourth gift is the 49th gift of revolution. And this energy always accompanies true understanding. The very nature of understanding is to bring about improvement for society in general, since the dynamic energy within this fourth gift is still expected as a certain restlessness. Whereas at the shadow level, this was the restlessness to resolve your own insecurity. At the gift frequency, this becomes the restlessness to resolve the insecurity within society in general. Wow. Thus, understanding always carries within it the seed intention to solve problems of intolerance and division in the world. Interesting. In the coming genetic shift triggered through the 55th gene key and the 49th gene key, the role of this fourth gift will undergo some very important genetic changes, which will gradually sweep through humanity. The involution of powerful Siddhic energy from the highest aspect of this archetype will bring about a minor but extremely important genetic mutation. A genetic mutation in this fourth gene key and its associated amino acid valine. This mutation will eventually phase out the fourth shadow of intolerance. Oh my God, this is cool. The children that come into the world carrying this new sequence of mutations will not be emotionally polarized. I feel like I'm kind of seeing this shift already. Their mental systems will not run riot throughout their lives. The fourth gift of understanding will govern the way in which their minds operate from birth. They will bring about a social revolution on a global level. And this revolution will be based upon a logical understanding of the folly of the existing systems and structures. New formula will come into the world through this fourth gift that will undoubtedly lead to technological breakthroughs that solve long-standing problems rather than create new ones. So that's the gift of understanding. So we've moved from the energies of intolerance. We talked about intolerance and how intolerance is expressed. Oh my God, Liam, why he is so stable even though, yeah, exactly. Yes. That when we start making these connections, this is when this starts getting fun. I'm doing so good, Willie. How are you? Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Okay. So we're moving through a journey here from intolerance to understanding. Now we're going to talk about the Siddhi. So the Siddhi means divine gift. That's what Siddhi means. There was these cities in the past, so in India, like ancient India, and these cities had magical powers. And the word Siddhi means divine gift. So these cities could like levitate, or they were telepathic, or all these things that we think are like, oh my God, that's crazy. But the reality is that it's not crazy at all, because it's like a normal part of the ascension process that we go through. Hey, Devin. Ooh, you came in at a cool time. So I need to change the way I'm sitting, and I'm going to move my camera up a little bit and see what happens. Hang on. Okay. So here we go. The fourth Siddhi of forgiveness. Let's talk about forgiveness. This is what I titled the broadcast. I titled it, "What Does It Mean to Truly Forgive?" Are you ready? Here we go. Merciless forgiveness. I actually really like this. Not only will the coming shift bring about a social revolution, but it will also bring an end to one of the great searches of modern man, the search for knowledge. What the fuck? Wow. Okay. Through the rupturing of the fourth shadow, understanding will take the place of knowledge, and much of the thrust of our modern world will die down. Understanding will take the place of knowledge. Yes. Oh my God. I don't know about you guys, but this is blowing my mind. We will no longer need to logically make sense of the paradoxes of existence, because our new center of awareness will give us a physical and energetic understanding of existence. Boom! Thus, the role of logic in our world will alter. It will no longer be used to defend our prejudices and fears. It will no longer be used for purely personal benefits. Yes, exactly, Movie Chav. This is from the gene keys. This is the 4th gene key, and this is the Siddhi, which is the divine gift of the 4th gene key. Logic, at its highest frequency, is a means to orchestrate the most efficient society possible. It's very deep. True efficiency is based upon a higher holistic understanding of living systems. Once our understanding shows us how connected we all are to each other, we will see for ourselves that selfishness is the most inefficient frequency of all. Boom! Man, this is like epicness in these pages. Awesome, Willie. The 4th gift forms, I saw a full. The 4th gift forms the launch pad for an even more refined frequency, the Siddhi of forgiveness. Forgiveness is born out of understanding, but it occurs when a being makes a leap beyond understanding. Forgiveness is a stage further on from social revolution. Just because a person has understanding and good intention does not mean that they can orchestrate a perfect society. History has shown that revolutions never change the world. Yes, it is what Jesus teaches. They just change society, and usually only briefly. The highest possibility of the 49th gene key is the Siddhi of rebirth. And this is the Siddhi that always awakens alongside forgiveness. Forgiveness, rebirth. As we have seen, understanding leads to the urge to serve the totality through instigating some kind of social reform. Forgiveness, however, is a pure Siddhic state, and as such, it has no sense of restlessness at all. All Siddhic states are the end of the line. They represent the absolute transcendence of our genetics and the end of being human. Let me say that again. All Siddhic states, Siddhi means divine gifts. All Siddhic states are the end of the line. They represent the absolute transcendence of our genetics and the end of being human. Forgiveness is the thunderbolt that is released when a being attains Christ consciousness. Yay. Yes, yay. It is like a kind of cosmic warmth that melts the borders and boundaries within the world of form. Forgiveness allows truth, with a capital T, behind all form to be seen. Further than that, it allows one to see through and thus become one with truth. There exists a great mystery about the power of forgiveness concerning time. Forgiveness represents an involving force rather than an evolving force, because it literally comes from the future towards the past. Okay, did I lose anybody? Holy shit. We're getting deep, people. We're getting deep. Take out your pens and pencils. It is a divine quality that descends like Christ into the world of form. In descending into human form, forgiveness lays its hand upon all humanity and works its way through time, burrowing into our collective past and releasing and freeing energy that has lain trapped and stagnant for eons. This is blowing my mind. Forgiveness moves down the ancestral bloodlines of all humanity in this way, dissolving genetic blocks and lifting karmic curses wherever it travels. Yes, yes. This is why the city of forgiveness is often credited with being capable of inducing miracles, because it can release a karmic debt that has stagnated for generations. As such, debts are released. Those in whom they live can move through incredible transmutations. These mysteries are explored in more depth in the 22nd gene key through a transmission known as the 7 Seals. Can't wait to hear this without a vacuum in the background. Wait, there's a vacuum in your background? The 4th city is a primary agent, amen, yes, of divine grace. That is to say, it does not adhere to human laws. It concerns the resolution of old debts at all levels. At a purely individual level, the whole process of human incarnation is based around the notion of karmic debt. Until you have paid off all your debts, particularly through your relationships, you cannot escape the game of incarnation and reincarnation. That's like common knowledge, right? But we also are moving into an age where karma is kind of, it's like ending, because more and more beings are coming ready to like transcend. And this is why we're getting shit like this to help us get closer and closer to that. Let me be a temple shining like a beacon on a holy hill full of peace and forgiveness. Ooh, I love that. Because it is also part of the ring of union, the 4th city's ultimate role is to bring humanity into a collective union through the resolution of karmic debt individually, racially, and mythically. In the material realm, we will see this manifestation one day through nations forgiving each other their financial debts. Forgiveness as such is really a collective phenomenon, which is why we humans have never been able to control it or fake it. It falls upon you like a surprise, and something inside you opens up that was previously choked. Yes, it is really a miracle. As more beings bring this city into the world, they play their part in the releasing of humanity's collective karma. Such beings hold on to nothing in life because they have moved beyond understanding and into pure truth. The forgiveness that we know of now is but a tiny shadow in comparison to the beyondness of this 4th city. Pure forgiveness is a universal panacea that radiates in every direction throughout time and space. It is the final answer to end all questions. And when the first atoms of forgiveness finally travel back to the very beginning of time, as they already have, the world we know now will begin to dissolve. Yes, we're talking about this in Martin Luther King Day. Wow. When all is forgiven, then forgiveness itself no longer exists, only truth. The final destiny of the 4th city is to rupture the connection between the past and the future, between the black and the white, between the yin and the yang, to finally bring an end to the logical fabric of space-time itself. True forgiveness is merciless because it returns everything to its source and is a force of pure annihilation. What's this manuscript? This is called, there's one more sentence. The gene keys by Richard Rudd. And every time I show it, it makes me turn blue. True forgiveness is merciless because it returns everything to its source and is a force of pure annihilation. The ultimate goal of forgiveness is, in fact, to bring an end to the world of form itself. Get out of here with that shit. Damn. Mind blown. Yes, I know. Holy wow. Yes. This is like savagery. In a good way. I love it. All right, you guys. That was the 4th gene key. So, what do you think? This book epic or what? This book is something else, man. Dang. So what we've done is gone through the 1st through the 4th. The first gene key, it was about entropy, freshness, and beauty. The second one was about dislocation, orientation, and unity. Cosmic, yes. The third one was about chaos, innovation, and innocence. Yes, this is, so you guys follow Devin, Reverend Devin Divine. He teaches A Course in Miracles, and he's an amazing teacher. Make sure you guys follow him. I think he's gonna hopefully start scoping again, but you can watch his replays. And when he was recording his Course in Miracles live on Periscope. And then we talked about the 4th gene key, which is intolerance into understanding and into forgiveness. Next broadcast of the awakening, we're going to talk about the 5th gene key, which is called the ending of time, moving from impatience to patience, and then into timelessness. So from the shadow of impatience to the gift of patience to the city of timelessness. So this book was written by Richard Rudd. And the best thing that you can do is actually get the book and read what he says and how he introduces his book. So he talks about how the I Ching is part of his inspiration for this book, but his inspiration comes from much more than the I Ching. So, next, probably tomorrow, we're going to talk about the 5th gene key, the ending of time. Dun, dun, dun. That was really amazing. That was really powerful. I'm hoping that you guys really enjoyed this broadcast. And I appreciate you guys' presence here on this broadcast. And also on my YouTube channel. Make sure to follow me on my YouTube channel. It's called Channel for Grace. I'm trying to grow that channel. And also, if you want to know what else I do outside of this live streaming, check out my website, which is eaglestaryoga.com, and you can see everything that I have going on. Other than that, I think we are complete. I enjoyed the broadcast. Good scope. You put a lot of work into it. Fair play. Thank you so much, Evolver Man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very much want to listen to it while not working. Yes, definitely go watch the replays. You'll know it's this type of broadcast because of the background. This is the dark background, but I had actually the lighter one in the previous broadcast. So this looks almost like a light blue color. But just go back and watch those replays so you can get the 1st gene key. So what we're doing is we're going through all of them from the 1st through the 64th. and diving right in so that when you get your map, which you can get at genekeys.com, you can actually understand your own specific individual gene keys. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. Remember to follow me here on this Periscope channel, because I'm going to go live again this evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and do our intuitive reading for the week. And this is a very powerful week. We just came out of a lunar eclipse in Leo. Today is actually another powerful day. We're experiencing this like grand trine, and it's a very positive day. And I'll be talking about that in the broadcast later on tonight at 7 p.m. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. And I will see you all again later on. Sat Nam.